A Gemini Gem is like creating your own AI assistant for one specific job. Instead of repeating the same instructions every time, you create them once, and Gemini already knows how you want it to respond. In this video, I'm going to show you exactly how to build a gem in Google Gemini. To get started, we want to come over here to the left and expand our Gemini menu. And near the top, you're going to see something called Gems. We want to select that. But hold on. If you see this notice about building something from Google Labs, building AI apps, we want to scroll down a little further. This first part is still in an experimental stage. We want to go down to the tried and trusted Gem Manager. And down below, you will see a button called New Gem. We want to select that, and we are going to be brought to this menu. Now, at any time, you can collapse that menu just so you have a little more space. We'll get back to that later so you know where and how you can save and manage all of your gems. But this is where the real magic happens. Now, even before you get started, you might be getting a warning message. Yes, your gem needs a name. I recommend that you name this something very descriptive so you know exactly what it does. In my example, I want to create a gem so that all I need to do is upload the meeting notes from one of my discovery calls, and then Gemini will almost instantly produce a full proposal, which will include 3 different options that I can give to that client. So for a name, I might call this something like proposal with 3 options. That's going to be the name. I can always come back and change that or edit it later. Down below, it is not required, but I would recommend that you give it a description. Now, Gemini is not going to use this as a reference point. The description is separate from the instructions, but it can be helpful in terms of what exactly does this gem do, especially as you add more and more gems within your Gemini account. So in my case, I'm going to say this produces a 3-option proposal for a client based on meeting notes, something really quick and easy for me to glance at and know exactly what I'm going to be getting. Then we get to the instruction part of the gem, and this is of course the most important, the most valuable space. This is where we can be as detailed as possible in terms of what we want this gem to produce. Now, before I continue with the instructions, I do want to highlight what's going on here on the right-hand side. Here we have a preview of this gem. So yes, right now it's showing both the title and the description. And once we start including the instructions, we can actually start testing out this gem to see if it's behaving the way that we want. Now, you'll also notice up in the top right-hand corner, there is a save button, and it currently says that this gem is not saved. I like to be safe, so I would recommend you go ahead and just hit save anyhow. You're going to be presented with this dialog here, and I can say start chat. It's going to go ahead and open this up as a full chat, but remember, we actually haven't given it any instructions. Don't worry, we're just one click away from going back to that editing screen. If we come up to the top right-hand corner, we select the 3 dots and select edit, we are returned exactly where we were before. But remember, now this gem is saved, so any changes we make here or instructions will not be lost. So coming back to the instructions dialog, this is by far the most important place, and you want to be as specific as possible. So in my example, I'm going to give it the following instructions. Produce a complete client proposal with 3 options for the client to consider. The details should be based on the discovery call meeting notes, which will be uploaded. So I'm telling the gem in advance that I'm going to be giving it some information, and I want this to be as easy as possible. I'm just going to be uploading a single document and then I want it to produce everything else on its own. But I'm going to give you an extra special tip at this point, which I have found extremely valuable when it comes to creating gems. Remember how I said being as detailed as possible is going to be most helpful? Well, to help you produce an even better gem based on a brief description, you may want to consider coming down here to this rewrite button. By selecting this, it's going to use Gemini to rewrite my instructions. Let me show you how it works. Here I've given it a fairly simple 2-sentence piece of instructions, but if I select this, it's going to take everything that I've given it and give it a much more detailed and thorough set of instructions. Quickly, let's go through. It's given some purposes and goals for this particular gem, some behaviors and rules. Yes, I want it to carefully analyze the uploaded meeting notes. Here is the structure, option 1, option 2, option 3. It's even included a comparison table. Now remember, this is all editable. If I don't want a comparison table, well, I can remove this completely. If I want to add some further details, that's fine as well. For example, is this the best overall tone that I want to give? If not, I can change it. And don't worry, I can always select undo and go back to my original format. But trust me, the more details you can give it, the better the output is going to be. Now, the last two options that we have below the instructions are default tool and knowledge. Now, by default, there is going to be no default tool, and I would recommend when you're first starting out to probably leave it as is. It's going to allow Gemini to select what tool is most appropriate. Now, if you're creating a gem for an image, well, yeah, you're going to want to select create an image, or if you're doing something specific to music or guided learning. But at least when you're getting started, I would recommend leaving this as the no default tool. And then lastly, we have a knowledge base, meaning do I want it to reference another proposal that I created in the past? Do I want it to reference something else so it can guide it or use it as a part of this gem? No, this is not where you're putting an individual set of meeting notes, because I want to repurpose this, right? I want to be uploading new discovery call meeting notes every day or every other day. So this is not where I would put it, but this is where I could put reference material. Now, we can start testing things out right away over here on the right-hand side and then come back to our instructions and tweak things back and forth. But I'm going to go ahead and select update here in the top right-hand corner. Once the gem has been saved, I can then select start chat, and we are brought back to something that looks exactly like any other Gemini chat. But all I need to do is upload one file. I'm going to select add files, upload files, and then all I need to do is select the correct file. In this case, these are my meeting notes. I don't have to give it any other instructions. I'm going to select submit, and in a matter of seconds, it's going to produce a custom proposal with all of the instructions that I've given it. Here I've got an executive summary, option 1, option 2, option 3. Here is the comparison table. Remember that it said that it was going to include. So it's got everything that I've asked for. If I want to make changes, all I need to do is go back and select edit, and I can continue to tweak those instructions so I can repurpose this gem again and again. Now, where are you going to find this gem so you can use it in the future? Well, if we expand that menu again, you can see that your gems will appear here near the top. Now, for those that you use most often, I recommend that you select pin so that it stays visible and that it's easy for you to see. Now, I'd love to hear from you next. Do you have any questions about creating gems in Google Gemini? And what are you planning to build next with your own personal AI assistant? Be sure to let me know in the comments down below. Thank you so much for watching, and remember, you deserve to work without feeling overwhelmed.